Welcome to this short story study lesson. I think this is lesson number 5 in the series. So we're going to read a story and focus on 4 key areas of English to help you upgrade your English level. Let's look at the story first. The story is entitled From Nightmares to Dreams. A couple was sleeping one night when suddenly the wife woke up trembling and crying. She was unable to stop her tears, so her husband comforted her and asked why she was crying. She replied, "I had a dream that a very rich and handsome man kidnapped me from you, and that I never saw you again." The husband smiled and said, "It's okay, honey. There's no need for you to worry anymore. It was just a dream." The wife responded loudly, "That's why I'm crying." So, did you understand the story? It's quite an amusing one because the husband thought the woman was crying because of the terrible dream where she was kidnapped by a man and she never saw her husband again. However, she was crying because it didn't happen in real life. It was just a dream. She actually wants a rich and handsome man to kidnap her, and she never wants to see her husband again, which means, obviously, she's not very satisfied with her husband. So let's look at focus area number 1, which is the grammar. We're going to look at the past continuous plus when plus the past simple. It sounds quite complex, but actually it's very easy and very useful. We use this structure to say that I was doing something when something else suddenly happened. We usually use this structure when telling a story. So this is a very common structure, very, very useful. And we use the structure in one sentence. Let me give you an example. I was walking down the street when suddenly I saw Brad Pitt. So I can imagine I'm telling this story to my friend. I was walking down the street when suddenly I saw Brad Pitt. So I was walking is the past continuous. When is during this time. And I saw is the past simple. So this is the structure that we use when saying something. I was doing something when suddenly something else happened. Can you see this? So the situation and then this happened. One more example is we were swimming in the sea. This is the situation when we noticed a shark's fin in the distance. This is what happened. Do you see this structure? So we were swimming in the sea when we noticed a shark's fin in the distance. This is a typical English structure when telling stories. Let's look at focus area number 2. The second focus area is the vocabulary, and the word we're going to look at is handsome. Now look at the spelling, H-A-N-D. However, the D is actually silent. We do not pronounce the D in this word. We say handsome, handsome. The D is silent. So handsome simply means attractive and good looking. However, we usually use this word for men rather than women. But we can also use handsome to describe things like cars or ships, or even other things like buildings. So let me give you a few examples. Many Hollywood actors are rich and handsome. Rich and handsome. So obviously, when I say this, I'm talking about the men, because handsome is only used for men most of the time. However, we can use it for objects. For example, objects of luxury, like cars. I can say, "Wow, that's a handsome car you have. How much was it?" So cars which are handsome typically might be Ferraris, Porsches, BMWs, very good looking and luxurious cars. Another a good use of handsome might be for animals, like animals which look very beautiful, typically nice, good-looking animals. Horses is a good one. That's a handsome horse. Or a dog, a beautiful breed of dog. You can say, wow, what a handsome dog you have. Or buildings is another nice one. The Empire State Building is a handsome structure. So these are some uses of handsome away from the typical use of talking about men. Let's look at focus area number 3, which is the expression. The expression we're looking at is, there's no need for someone to do something. And this means that it doesn't have to be done, or it shouldn't be done. Okay? So there's no need for someone to do something. This means, for example, that you shouldn't do that, or you don't need to do that. Let me give you an example. If someone is very angry because I accidentally broke their phone, I can say, there's no need for you to be angry. I didn't mean to break your phone. So there's no need for you to be angry means you shouldn't be angry. It was an accident, okay? Another one is, imagine I'm the boss of a big company and I have an employee who's trying to help me finish some work. I can say, look, don't worry. There's no need for you to stay late. I can finish this work alone. This means you don't need to stay. It's okay. Or one more is to use this expression when comforting people. When someone is feeling very sad and low, you can say, for example, there's no need for you to cry. Everything will be fine in the future. Don't worry. So you shouldn't cry, or you don't need to cry. It will all be fine. So there's no need for you to cry. Okay? Very, very common expression. And focus area number 4 is the pronunciation of and. Now, the pronunciation of and is very often reduced when we make lists of two things. And becomes un in this case. So can you hear this? The pronunciation of and, un. It's much, much shorter. Actually, we delete the D sound from the end when we talk about lists of things. One example is, our new dog is friendly and cute. We don't really say, our new dog is friendly and cute. We very rarely fully pronounce the word and in this case, because we have a list of two things, friendly, cute. We simply say, our new dog is friendly and cute. Can you hear that? We typically say and very, very quickly. Un. This is the pronunciation. Another example is, Paul is such a kind and helpful person. Paul is such a kind and helpful person. Okay? And is not fully pronounced in this example. Or we can do 2 or more things. We can do 3, 4 things in a list. I can say, can you buy milk, bread, and eggs? So and is reduced in this case. We also use this pronunciation of and in very typical phrases. The music genre, rock and roll. This is a good one to illustrate this example. We never say rock and roll. We say rock and roll. The and just becomes n. Very, very short sound. Rock and roll. Or another music genre is R&B. R-N-B. R&B. Can you hear that? Other typical phrases, like in English we have a typical phrase to talk about actors and music stars. We say the rich and famous. Okay, the rich and famous. We don't say the rich and famous. We say the rich and famous. This is typically how we speak. Or, on the other hand, when we talk about very poor people from, poor nations who need our help, we say the poor and needy. The poor and needy. We use this pronunciation of and because these expressions are so familiar and so common that we say them very quickly, almost like one word. Rock and roll. It's almost become one word. So the pronunciation is reduced a lot. Now, let's go back to the story. We've learned 4 key areas. We're going to go back to the story now and read once more. A couple was sleeping one night when suddenly the wife woke up trembling and crying. She was unable to stop her tears, so her husband comforted her and asked why she was crying. She replied, "I had a dream that a very rich and handsome man kidnapped me from you, and that I never saw you again." The husband smiled and said, "It's okay, honey. There's no need for you to worry anymore. It was just a dream." The wife responded loudly, "That's why I'm crying." So, I hope you took way more from it the second time. What should you do now? Download the MP3 and PDF of the story. Listen to me tell the story many, many times for deep learning, and repeat after me for rapid fluency. Thanks for watching. As always, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer all of them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.